If you don't want to admit that your fear of failure, your fear of what your family thinks, and your fear of what your friends will say behind your back is stopping you from creating a life that you truly love and enjoy, watch this video. Hey y'all, I'm Ash Johns and I'm back again as your ancestral healer and certified psycho-spiritual life coach, bringing another video about how you can heal your lineages, heal your ancestral trauma, and create a life aligned with your desires and your destiny. I work with women like you every single day to identify and heal generational patterns that are stopping them from creating a life of freedom, love, and abundance. And if you already are feeling my vibe, I want you to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to it, and hit the bell if you like notifications of when me and my team release videos every single week. I've worked with a lot of women, and guiding them to reclaim their desires, trust their inner guidance, and begin walking the steps to fulfilling their destiny and their desires is what I am known for. And I will tell you, every time we start to work together, the first thing we need to get into are your fears. So before we get started, if you know that fear is stopping you from exploring and actualizing whatever it is that you want in your life and how to actually make it happen, I want you to go ahead and sign up for my free masterclass, Moving Through Fear. It's literally a guided teaching on how to get deep into your fears so that you can overcome them and move forward in your life. It's free right here for you. Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk and teach you today is that there's actually a whole lot more going on than just fear. What's true is that there's at least 4 main fears. Fear of what your family will say or think, fear of what your friends will do if you will fit in with them, fear, of course, of failure and if you can actually be successful, if you're doing it the right way, and then, of course, fear of fortune, like the responsibility of actually being successful. I would also toss in like fear of focus, that you will have to narrow down and become an expert at something, or really like devote your time to being known for a thing or going after a thing, right? And then also like fear of fortress, which is you having an actual empire, or that you're own something, or that you have to actually protect and have boundaries around something that is amazing that you've created. But we'll leave out focus and fortress. You have a unique path in life that is different than everyone else, even though it's very similar that we're all pursuing love, belonging, abundance, community, security, and all the other Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? But the way that you are here to bring that to life, that you are here to experience that, is unique to you. And because we travel in groups of people, as family, as community, as ethnicities, and so on, we tend to forget that all of these things are influencing us in our path of life. So I want you to take a moment right now to actually pause the video and think about what fears you may have relating to what your family will think about your choices, your boundaries, your decisions, and your pursuit, what your friends may say, or your frenemies, right? Because let's be honest, may think or say behind your back or to your face, what failure would actually look like and how would it feel, and then what would success feel like as you step into the responsibility of holding your greatest desires in your real lived life. Just take a moment and do that as an exercise. I'm feeling generous today. Now, I'm sure that you paused this video and you've kind of felt into all of your fears associated with your family, your friends, your actual success, and let's be honest, we make mistakes along the way and we're not always hitting a home run as we pursue living our dreams and destinies out loud, right? So the fact that you've even taken a moment to acknowledge that you have some fears is already one step to overcoming fear and busting out of the limitations of what others think or say about your life that you are called to create. Kudos to you. Now, the second point I want to make is that there's no such thing as being fearless, okay? I know there was a whole thing around this for a while. I think we've evolved past it, but I still want to come in here and hone this point, that this idea that Beyonce and all these other people are just quote unquote fearless is not true. And it's not true for you, it's not true for me. But we can change our relationship to fear, and that's more so what people are talking about. Fear is a constant. Fear is something that we actually need. It serves us very good, and it's primal. It's part of our human experience. And so if we were to annihilate or remove or completely not experience fear, it would be a very dangerous world. I think there's an actual medical condition of that. If you don't feel fear and you don't feel pain, it's very dangerous. Luckily, we don't have that issue here. But we do have an opportunity of seeing fear completely different and relating to it on a different level. So, what does that look like? We can start seeing fear as a gift, as an opportunity to inquire, get curious, lean in, explore, and see what's truly going down underneath the surfaces, level upon level, layer upon layer. And when you get in there, you get to choose what you want to believe. You get to choose the energetics of how fear feels in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit, and start to transmute it into something else. For me personally, when I feel fear, when I'm about to speak, I tune into it and I start to shift it into, this is going to be the most eloquent and beautiful video that I ever share with you. As soon as I tune into that, the energy starts to move into excitement. I start opening up, and you can really feel that energy through this video. Am I right? Thought so. So you have an opportunity to not shy away from fear, but actually get curious about it, at least be neutral with it, or lean into it and start having fun with exploring your fears. It may feel excruciating at first, but over time, you're going to learn more about yourself. You're going to learn more about your programming. You're going to learn about your ancestry a bit more, and you're going to find power and courage to create something new. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is that fear is not only your own. As you might imagine, I've kind of hinted at this already, but your fears are things that have been inherited throughout all time and space. They have been affirmed through your own lived experiences. You've inherited them from your ancestry and your lineage. Society and culture has told you what to fear. And let's be honest, the media hasn't exactly helped us. And lots of us also had very creative imaginations as kids. So I want you to realize that a lot of times we start to identify our fear as our own. We start to take it on as an identity. We start to believe that it is true. But really, it's remnants of other pieces that were true in other time and space. And for other people, including ourselves, that may not be true now and definitely isn't serving us in the way that we want it to. It's still serving us. It's just serving us not in the way that we want. So I want you to take a moment and go back to the list that I had you do earlier and look at those fears around what your family would say, around what your friends might think, around failing and around success, and just take a little inventory here. How much of those beliefs, those deeper fears, are truly yours? Where do they come from? How do they make you feel? Who do they remind you of? Just start to get even more curious about those fears, because I kid you not, they are definitely ancestral. They are definitely reinforced by your own mind and your own lived experiences, unmetabolized and unhealed. And then they are also picked up through society and other people's experiences, including things that are associated with other identities you carry, your gender, your sex, your interests, your ethnicities, and so on. They're also very much so shared by communities in which you feel you belong to and identify with. But I want to remind you that your path is your own. Even if you share these fears and have inherited these fears and have decided to succumb to these fears to a certain extent, you are walking a unique path in life. So the sooner you get intimate with those fears, the more that you realize that they are serving you in a different way and transmute them into a way that works for you and what you desire, the more they will aid you as you create a life aligned with your desires and your destiny, and you show up to be the change that we want to see and need to see in the world. Finally, the biggest takeaway, if you haven't nailed it by now, is that I want you to go ahead and open up to fear. I want you to be curious about it. I want you to ask questions about it. And I want you to feel your fears. I mean, really sit with them. Allow the tears to come. Allow your body and nervous system to respond. Pull out a good, healthy journal and get into it. I'm so sure that when you do, you're going to be able to feel fear in a totally different way that actually creates a whole lot of freedom for you. If you are courageous, curious, and open, you will find an answer inside of your fear. It's pretty wild how it happens. It's almost like the bitterness at the beginning of medicine. As soon as you get through the bitterness, it actually serves you really well. So I want you to go in and sit with your fears, see what they will tell you about yourself, your lineage, your beliefs, your desires, and also your path, right? Your path in life and what's blocking you from taking another step down that lane. Fear always unlocks your truth if you sit with it. Fear will always show you the path to your medicine and your freedom. So just a quick heads up, when you start this exercise, whether you do the one at the beginning of this video or you go ahead and access the free masterclass, Moving Through Fear, the first thing you're gonna do is say, oh, I'm afraid of rejection. I want you to ask yourself deeper questions. At least ask yourself, what am I afraid of? And what does this mean at least 5 times, okay? Because every single time you're gonna peel off another layer and another layer and another layer that's gonna get you actually to the core issue that you believe that's creating the sensation and the belief of fear in your life. So I just want to encourage you to go deeper in the inquiry so that you get the most out of this exercise. It'll be like, rejection of what? From whom? And what does that mean for you? And what does that mean to you? And like, what are the implications of this fear when you actually get into it deeper levels of it? Ultimately, what you're looking is to determine if the fear is actually true or if it's a projection from your ancestors, from your family, from one or a specific experience in your life, from society or cultural impositions. And when you do that, you can start to disidentify with that fear and bring in a more supportive thought, belief, and energy. So when you learn to work with fear, you'll be able to trust yourself around other people, whether they're related to you or not, as you navigate your life in the way that you want it to become. And you'll trust yourself to take on whatever life throws you. So that fear actually becomes your ally instead of your foe. Of all of the things I share with you above, I'd love to know what resonates with you. Share below which of these areas of fear most connected with you. I'd love to know, I'd love to reply, and I'd love to have a little chat in the comment section of this video. If you'd like my help identifying your limiting beliefs, your fears, both personal, ancestral, and societal, that are stopping you from realizing your desires and starting to take action to actualize them so you can have a life of freedom, love, belonging, and of course, abundance, definitely for sure download this free masterclass, Moving Through Fear. It is so well loved. It's 58 minutes guiding you through unpacking your fear so that you can get free. It's 100% free, so you might as well go ahead and download it. After you view it, definitely hit me up on Instagram at @AshInspires and let me know how it served you. I want to thank you so much for being here for another video on my channel. I am Ash Inspires, and I'll be back next week with another video helping you to identify generational patterns, break through your ancestral traumas, and create a life aligned with your desires and your destiny. Always, please walk your path with courage and compassion, and also some creativity. Lots of love to you. I'll see you next week.